So we'll get started shortly. Thank you for your patience. There was a couple of technical challenges on my side with my audio in particular and no one else's. So we just got them resolved. Hillary, do we have everyone in?
Hi, Mayor Peckford. I believe that is everyone in. I'll let any come in
Yep.
as they.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, of course, I'm Mayor Peckford. I'm going to start with our land acknowledgement, and then I'll do some preliminaries in terms of how we're going to organize this evening, and we'll get straight to it. So the municipality of North Grenville acknowledges that the municipality operates on the territory of the Anishinaabe. We recognize all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who now call North Grenville their home. We respect and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship, and we commit to Indigenous informed decision making to foster the path towards reconciliation. So thank you, everyone. We held a in-person County Road 43 meeting just under 2 weeks ago. And unfortunately, due to some streaming issues, we weren't able to get that to you via YouTube or other platforms that we would typically use to share information about the County Road 43 expansion. So as a consequence, we made a decision that evening that we would come back together and have a virtual session that is being recorded and that will live on, I think, our YouTube channel and other sites so that you can refer to this or share the link with colleagues, friends, family, neighbors, what have you. So I'd like to introduce the team this evening. And I'm just going to go in the order of my screen. So it's not in any particular order. I'm joined by Bill Guy, who's Deputy Director of Public Works. He will be presenting with me a little bit later. And he's been a very important driver of this county project, which, of course, the municipality is a partner to. But it is really Bill who's been in the driver's seat for much of this one. But of course, our own Director of Public Works, Mike Finley, is on the call. Say hi, Mike. And Mike, in the capacity of working with North Grenville's Public Works team, is overseeing crucial pieces of the project, the expansion, namely water and sewer upgrades that are happening as the road is being rebuilt, multi-use pathways, lighting, trees, and some intersection controls that we'll talk about. So thank you, Mike, for being here. We also have Keena Boyce, who is Director of Client Services and oversees our comms team. She's with us. Say hi, Keena. We also have Matt Gilmer this evening, who's our Economic Development Manager. Matt, I know maybe if he hasn't already connected with some of the businesses on the 43, he's been out there pounding the pavement and making sure that people know what to expect. We also have, of course, Hillary, who's supporting us this evening. Hillary Janot, Director of Strategic Initiatives, and she also is supporting some of the back end IT tonight. So thank you so much, Hillary, for being with us. We also have Stan Skeggs. Stan and his colleagues, Alexander Olivier, are part of the project management team. They are from what was Mac Perry and is now Aegis, I believe, another multinational company that is supporting the day-to-day project management of this particular county road expansion. This is a $50 million expenditure borne by three levels of government. The federal and provincial government contributed just over $9 million. The counties is close to 30, and the municipality of North Grenville is nearing $10 million. So there's been lots of lead up to the actual award of tender, which was obviously the catalyst for some of the activity you see on County Road 43 today. Finally, I just want to acknowledge my council colleagues. I can't see everyone, but I believe most of my council colleagues are here. Councillor Wilson, I see you on the screen. I believe Deputy Mayor John Barkley may be here. Of course, Councillor Strachan, I think, may be joining, and Councillor O'Sullivan. even though the leadership for this project is out of the county, the reality is that the expansion of this particular road obviously impacts our community to a great degree. While it's a regional commercial quarter, it also serves many different facets of life in North Grenville. And I don't think there's a resident in North Grenville who hasn't been on County Road 43 in recent days, if not weeks. So we have a short PowerPoint. I'm going to do the first few slides, and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Bill at the counties, and he'll do the rest. I've asked Kina and Hillary to watch for any comments. I think there's a raise hand function, if I'm not mistaken, and we do have the chat open. Is that right, Kina and Hillary?
Yes, people should be able to see the raise hand as well as the chat.
Oh, perfect. So what we thought we'd do is, obviously, if you have questions at the end, great. If you have a pressing question that you believe demands clarification and may be helpful to others before we finish the presentation, then if you just put up your hand or write something in the chat, we'll see if we can respond to it during the presentation. Have I missed anyone on the staff team? Hillary or Kina? I can't see everyone, so I didn't want to neglect anyone. We're good?
Yep.
Okay. And our CAO, Karen Dunlap, unfortunately, due to a personal development, wasn't able to be here tonight, but she obviously is working very closely with both the county and our own team here at the municipality to make sure everything goes well. So Alex, maybe I can get you to go to the next slide, please. Yep, we want to go to the next one. We've done our land acknowledgement. Yeah, so to get down to the brass tacks, as I think we're all aware, this is a shared County Road 43 expansion and bridge project. And when we were talking as a municipal council a number of years ago about how to describe the investments and the improvements in this road, we felt strongly that it should feel and present as a boulevard. So that's really the vision behind the expansion. It's to slow people down, not speed them up. That will become evident in the addition of 4 roundabouts in a short section of road. But I'd like to say that those roundabouts were something that Bill and his engineering team felt strongly made sense so that we could properly and safely accommodate the high volumes of traffic on County Road 43. Many of the businesses that will be served by a roundabout on the 43, on the new roundabout, we're extremely happy to hear that a roundabout was coming, because it really does facilitate traffic flows much better than almost in any other traffic control measure that we have at our disposal at the present time. So the project is expected to take just over 2.5 years. As mentioned, the idea is to create a new boulevard, and we are expanding 2 kilometers of existing road into 4 lanes from Colony Mall to Kemptville County Road 44. And in addition, we are building a new 4-lane bridge across Kemptville Creek. You know, some people asked, why did this project take so long? And certainly, since I've been in office in 2018, it has been a priority at both the county and the municipal level to get this done. But we did make sure that we leveraged some of those financial opportunities that came our way through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. And that gave us the close to $10 million that offset some of the costs. But moreover, it became obvious in 2020 that we had initially expected to twin the bridge and leave the existing bridge in place and simply twin it to a 4-lane bridge. And when the engineers took a closer look at the existing bridge over Kemptville Creek on the 43, they immediately strongly recommended a full bridge replacement, because the bridge was reaching the end of its life. And it was no longer practical to look at twinning a bridge and leaving the existing bridge, because that bridge is nearing the end of its life. That slowed things down, quite frankly, because we had to go through an environmental assessment process. And we had to sort of reset, if you will, on that particular component. But it's an important component, of course, to the expansion. Finally, there is significant beautification measures as part of the expansion. And there is significant pedestrian connectivity, both in the roundabouts themselves and on the establishment of multi-use pathways on both sides of the County Road 43. Bill, did I forget anything on that one?
Nope, I think you covered it very well.
Okay, I'll just keep going for a little bit and toss it to you. So we know obviously that County Road 43 is a major thoroughfare. And as I've said, our vision is to really showcase and encourage the exploration of our community. I've talked about the roundabouts. I've talked about the intention of the new road design is to increase safety and accommodate different transportation modes, whether it's cyclists, pedestrians, or of course drivers and agricultural vehicles. I would like to emphasize. We did have lots of conversation about making sure that agricultural vehicles would be well accommodated on an expanded 43, and the roundabouts have been designed specifically to ensure that agricultural vehicles of all kinds can continue to traverse 43. And of course, you'll notice that there will be vastly improved lighting. We have minimal lighting on 43 right now. We are in urgent need of more, and there will be some trees, shrubbery, of course. You'll see a picture there and some reference to other famous boulevards. So, you know, we like to aim high here in North Grenville. So we're using that as a bit of inspiration. Next slide, Alex. Yeah, so I'm going to throw it to Bill shortly, but I'll just do a bit of summary here. As some of you know, the government of Ontario downloaded this highway in the late 90s. And we all acknowledge that County Road 43 has seen minimal upgrades since then. Certainly, I think before Bill, Guy, or I arrived on the scene, the initial renderings for an expanded 43 were, I think, circa 2010. So as a consequence, you know, we have been in a bit of a wait and see as we anticipated, planned, and finally were able to action much improved 43. So consequently, County Road 43, we acknowledge, is beyond its end of life cycle and requires significant reconstruction of the 2-lane highway. What we know is that the expansion will reduce operating costs in the long run. They will absolutely improve road safety, and we recognize that good infrastructure is a key economic component to the region's prosperity. And you know, as mayor here in North Grenville, when this project went through many rounds of discussion, and Bill Guy came and briefed us on various aspects of the project, I was very heartened to see the full support by my county colleagues for this significant investment in this road. Maybe, Bill, I'll toss it over to you now, and you can talk about the considerations by the project planners. Keena, do we have Bill, or did he freeze? It looks like he froze.
Yeah, it looks like he's
frozen. Okay, I'll carry on for a bit. Maybe just send him a quick message. So another consideration for County Road 43 was that no personal residents would be relocated or impacted. So deliberately, as some of you are likely seeing now, the work that is currently underway is all on the Ferguson Forest side of County Road 43, if you will. And that was a deliberate decision to not, in any respect, dislocate a residence. We had to negotiate with 26 commercial and institutional properties to acquire the necessary land for the expansion. The natural environment was certainly also actively considered, particularly with the ecological sensitivities in and around the bridge. And that's why there was another environmental assessment required that the counties and the municipality undertook with great consideration, so that we would not disrupt, ecologically the terrain and obviously all of the animals and fish that use the creek and the areas surrounding the creek as their habitat. Also, obviously, cultural heritage landmarks have and will continue to be monitored. I think we may have Bill back now. Bill, you've taken your video off, which might increase your audio. Is that right?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. So why don't you give it a shot? Can you see our slide,
Okay.
County Road 43 overview?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Perfect.
I got a message here, and so I'll turn the video off. I
Okay.
think it's going to help.
And
Yeah.
I'll help you
Okay.
out.
So yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is an overview of the project. This is the area that we are expanding. It extends from roughly 230 meters east of Colonnade, basically to where the MTO work is going to take place at the 416 off ramps, to roughly 200 meters west of County Road 44. The clouded area that you see here, none of the residents are affected or anything like that. That's basically just to show the roadway. All the work is contained within the roadway. No private residences have been affected. It's all commercial properties that needed to be purchased, and the expansion was going to take place on. So this just kind of gives you an overview of everything that we're doing there. With the 4-lane bridge, the 6 roundabouts, 4 new, the expansion on the County Road 19, and the Colonnade roundabouts. Could we get the next slide there, Alex, please? So it is quite a substantial project. There's a lot involved in this. Can I be heard, or is it?
Yep, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Can we get the next slide, please, Alex?
Yeah. Which slide can you see, Bill?
Oh, I've got the County Road 43 overview. Maybe I'm falling behind here. I seem to have a bad connection.
Bill, I can pick it up from here.
Okay.
And then,
yeah, if you can, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And then why don't you jump in? I'll just do the overview and we'll see if your connection stabilizes a bit. So what you're seeing, so Alex is just running through obviously some of the overview slides, County Road 43 overview, and you can see the newly proposed roundabouts. In our in-person meeting, Bill really emphasized there's pedestrian controls in all of the roundabouts, the newly proposed roundabouts. And Bill, as I understand it, or Mike, maybe you can jump in here as well, or Alex, we also have 2 roundabouts that are expanding existing roundabouts, or maybe it's just one. Can you speak to which roundabout will be expanded of the existing ones on 43?
Thank you, Mayor. I can jump in on that. So
Great.
The Colonnade roundabout already is set up for 2 lanes, so there'll be some adjustments there so they can continue to the County Road 19 roundabout, which is currently a single lane, and it will become a double-laned or 4-laned roundabout as it goes through. So those are the 2 existing that are going to have adjustments made to them.
Perfect. Thank you. So we'll carry on, Alex, with the additional slides. So Mike, maybe you can speak to lighting improvements. I think this is under our jurisdiction here in North Grenville.
Sure, no problem. So there will be 2 lighting adjustments made here along, of course, along the roundabouts and throughout County Road 43. On the roadway, there'll be lighting as well as the pedestrian facilities. So the multi-use pathways will also have lighting so that residents that are using the pathways will be lit up as well. So that'll be a new feature.
And maybe you want to walk through the roundabout, Mike, that we're just seeing that visual on the screen.
Yeah, so this is a representation of a typical roundabout. This most likely is almost something we may see at, or we will see at the main intersection of County Road 43 and County Road 44. You can see to the one corner there's almost two ways of getting into the roundabout and one coming out of it, just due to the size and that slip lane heading onto County Road 43. So this is an example of what we will see with the final product. And again, you'll see the crossings for pedestrians, they will be PXOs, so they will have lights there as well to get traffic to stop for the pedestrians to cross the roundabout safely.
And in the pictures of the roundabouts here, Mike, we don't see those PXOs, but they will be installed in all of the roundabouts. Is that my understanding? Am I right about that?
That is correct. We don't see the
Yeah.
lights here. What
Mhm.
we do see here is that kind of raised beds in the middle, which we won't see in our design. But we will have the lighting features on parts of at each roundabout.
Perfect. Mike, do you want to take this one? Beautification?
Sure, no problem. So this is a lot of the areas where we could effectively put a boulevard in the center with treed areas similar to this this roadway. That's what we're looking to do. There is a section where some of the businesses are by the Kempville restaurant and places like that where it there won't be the boulevard, so that there can be still some left turns. But a lot of the area we did try to include a center boulevard with trees and grass to kind of dress up the area.
Bill, you might be back online now. We're looking at that bridge expansion photo. Do you want to speak to the bridge?
Sure. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we're good.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So the with the bridge. So what we're doing with the bridge, we're going to do it in 2 phases. So starting in early July, the contractor Tomlinson will be constructing 2 lanes on the north side or the south side, excuse me, of the existing bridge. So we'll construct those 2 lanes. Then we'll move traffic onto the 2 new lanes that have just been newly constructed, demolish the existing bridge, and then construct 2 new lanes again on the north side of the new bridge, and then join the 2 together. So, and the final product ending up being the 4-lane bridge. And there will be 3-meter wide sidewalks. The multi-use pathway will carry right across the bridge. So they will be quite wide, the sidewalks on the bridge, very pedestrian friendly. And the span of the bridge is going to increase a lot. The new bridge is going to be about 3 times longer than the existing one.
So Bill, we're just on that slide around community connections. Can you see that one?
Yeah, I see you've
Perfect.
caught up here. Yeah.
All right,
so,
good stuff.
Okay, so I'll take it from here. So the community connections here, like with the technology, there will be a dedicated website with detailed project information that will be updated on a very regular basis. There will be live camera feeds that will show the progress in real time. We should have 1 camera up very soon, possibly a second one later on in the project, but we'll see how that goes. With people, there will be local liaison committee made up of businesses and other stakeholders to mitigate and attempt to plan ahead of any disruptions and get the word out to the community. So we're going to try and mitigate inconvenience as much as possible. We can't eliminate it. It's impossible in a job this size, but we will mitigate it as much as we can. We'll get the information out there and give you time enough to plan ahead. Using the media, there will be robust communication strategy. There will be progressive use of the media and sharing potential road closures, disruptions, and congested areas. And I'd like to also add here now too that all the businesses will remain open for the duration of the work. On the project work, you're going to see the removal and the underground work, which is the addition of storm sewers. As you know now, County Road 43 is all drained by ditch. Everything, all the drainage is going underground. There'll be upgrading of the sanitary services and the upgrading of the water main. The grading and paving, there will be a new 4-lane road with 3-meter wide multi-use pathways on both sides of the corridor and across the bridge. The 4 new roundabouts, which the mayor mentioned, and the upgrade to the 2 existing roundabouts at Colonnade and County Road 19. There will also be a beautification and a connectivity component to the project. There will be controlled pedestrian crossings at the roundabouts, which Mike alluded to earlier, pedestrian street lighting enhancements, as well as pedestrian and street lighting enhancements. There will be both. There will be 2 sets of lights. Wetland construction under the bridge for a future trail, and there will be trees planted along the corridor. The objectives of the project are pedestrian access, which is a crucial component of this project, and it has been adopted as a contractual item. So, which means that there will be pedestrian access maintained during the course of construction. It may not be the easiest traverse, but there will be ways to get through. Access to businesses will be impacted as little as possible through the project. While things look different a little now, the businesses will remain accessible to the public for the duration of the project. There will unless something untoward happens, there will always be accesses to all the businesses. And we will communicate. The mitigating environmental and cultural impacts, well, we're protecting the fish and the fish habitat. We're preserving the wildlife and species at risk, surface water, groundwater, taking measures to protect vegetation and vegetative communities. Contamination and waste management is being controlled. Maintaining air quality, mitigating land use impacts, mitigating noise pollution as much as possible. Archaeological, the cultural heritage, archaeological investigations were done. Cultural heritage landscapes maintained, and climate change was the review of the potential project impact on the environment and the review of the potential for climate to impact the project and monitoring. There'll be constant monitoring through the course of the job. The impact on the local businesses, investing in temporary amenities like pedestrian walkways, signage to enhance safety and accessibility for businesses and customers during the construction. These components are all included in the contract. Tomlinson is well aware of them, and I'm sure they will adhere to them. We have assurances from them. They're a responsible contractor. Collaborate with local businesses to minimize disruptions to their access during the construction period. Ensure that up-to-date information is easily accessible and readily available on the project website. And will establish clear communication channels between the municipality and the businesses to provide timely updates on construction schedules, detours, and access points. The challenges of the project. There'll be the impact. There'll be plenty of those, and it's going to go on for a long time.
Not the challenges, the work, Bill. The work.
That's true. So there, as your mayor stated, the project is going to extend for quite a while. It is going to go right to the end of 2026. So we're looking at 2.5 years of construction, although as we progress through the project, it will lessen. So there will be impact to other roads in the community. Detour routes will change throughout the project. But we are looking into the development of updating traffic in real time so that it may be shared and help planning when out and about. But I know a lot of you are local and you will find your own way. It seems to be, in the course of my experience, that most of the locals do find their own way. If there are issues, we will take steps to try and mitigate them. There will be stress and anxiety because of the traffic congestion, because it's never easy. We've tried to incorporate mitigation strategies to reduce it, and we do welcome any community feedback throughout the process. Any ideas, we're open to them. While the utmost is done to prevent delays, they do happen with large projects. Some of the usual reasons are subsurface conditions, design variances, shortages of certain skilled trades, materials, or products. And again, we'll communicate, because it's so important. Okay, here are the key contacts throughout the course of the work. These are the people that you would contact. We would ask you to Alexander Oliveira and Stan Skeggs on the top there will be your main points of contact. They're the project managers hired by the counties and the municipality to look after this project. Aegis is the name of their company, formerly McIntosh Perry, a very well-known company with an excellent reputation throughout the area. And then there's myself. I'm the manager of engineering and operations for the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville. And myself and your public works director, Mike Finley, were the leads on this project, representing the owners, the counties and the township. So I guess we're open for questions.
Yeah, so that was a pretty quick overview. So I don't know if anyone has some additional questions. We fielded quite a few in the in-person meeting about construction timelines and schedules. As Bill emphasized, it's critical to us and it's a contractual obligation on the part of Tomlinson to never block access to any of the commercial or institutional properties along County Road 43. There will be minimal lane disruptions and really no road closures of any significance. So, you know, we're certainly open to your questions at this stage. If there are any, if not, I can touch a little bit on some of the reflections we had at our in-person public meeting around road detours, road safety, and when we can expect the bulk of the work to happen that will enable certainly the 2 new lanes to be usable by the community. Kina or Hillary, are you seeing any hands? Okay. I see a Matthew Cahoon. I apologize, Matthew. I shouldn't be pronouncing people's last names.
All good. You did very well on the pronunciation.
All right.
Are you able to hear me?
We're good.
Okay, perfect. Quick couple of questions actually. So regarding, I know that the expansion is supposed to go about 200 meters west of County Road 44. Just wondering, given the Oxford Village that's being constructed, I'm assuming that's going to at some point create a lot of additional traffic west of County Road 44 on the 43. I'm just wondering, did the municipality give any consideration? And I realize that cost for this project is tremendous. Just wondering if there was consideration given to expanding the 43 expansion to go out to either Pine Hill Road or Somerville Road. So that's my first question. Thank you.
Bill, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you wanted me to take that one. Not at this time, not at the county level, no. But there are steps being taken with the development, like at Somerville Road. There will be a roundabout constructed there, but it will only be a single lane roundabout. All the roundabouts in the expansion, of course, are 2-lane roundabouts. So there has been some considerations taken to alleviate some of the traffic from the development. But no, not at this time. There is no plans to widen 43 beyond the limits of this project.
Okay.
I just might say that Matthew, and certainly you're welcome to have a follow-up. When the County Road 43 expansion that's now under construction came to our attention in 2018, it initially was forecasted to be a $28 million project. And that was without a full bridge rebuild. It was without the inflationary pressures we've seen on construction costs. It was without some of the costs attached to property acquisition along County Road 43 to allow for the expansion. What was mandated within the scope of the expansion is what you see today. But clearly, I think we all recognize, and Bill said this at the first meeting we had, that in due course, and I would expect sooner rather than later, that additional section of 43 absolutely has to be contemplated. It just wasn't part of the scope of what had been planned for when we were initially applying for and finalizing the designs for the section of the 43 you see under construction today.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Peckford and Bill. My second question is in regards to the what we were told about the bridge. So the bridge is actually going to be tripled in length. So does that actually mean that the bridge will be raised? So the road will have sort of more of like an overpass style bridge, or I'm just sort of wondering, trying to envision what a bridge that's 3 times the length of the current bridge is going to look like over Kemptville Creek.
Bill, over to you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 piers added under the bridge. So yeah, we're just moving basically out of the wetland. So the abutments of the bridge will be moved out of the wetland. So the bridge now will completely traverse the not just the creek, but the wetland on both banks.
All right. Thank you for that. I don't have any additional questions. Thank you. It's been a very informative presentation. Thank you.
And Bill, did we speak to the under the bridge pathway that might be possible once the new bridge is built?
Yeah, I think I did mention it. Yeah, that maybe I didn't, but
Okay.
yeah, there will be the construction of a wildlife or what would you call it? A natural area under the bridge. It will be constructed. There will be provisions made for a future pathway to go through there.
And that pathway is a pedestrian pathway.
Be a pedestrian pathway. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So again, I think with the limitations of the scope of this project, we did look, at raising the bridge initially, and it became obvious that the properties on either side of the bridge are really too close to the bridge to allow for an appropriate span to raise the bridge. So that was a key limitation, as I think Bill was mentioning. But we also, because of our waterfront access strategy, had contemplated how we might be able to get people under the bridge so that they could easily access our fantastic trail network within Ferguson Forest. So the infrastructure is going into place to allow for the addition of a under the bridge pathway. It won't be built as part of this project, but it will make it possible, very viable, to add that feature should the municipality of North Grenville wish to do that in the coming years. All right. I think we've addressed the questions in the chat. Are there any other hands?
Mayor Peckford, there was a question, I'm not sure it was addressed from Ron about, is there a simplified work plan to outline the work schedule?
Oh, great. That's a great question. I didn't see it. So thank you, Hillary. And I'm going to ask Bill to take that one on and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I get probably the simple schedule will be is that the work will be for 2020. We will be concentrating on the west side of the bridge on the north side of County Road 43 with the intention of trying to get to the south side. So what the plan is for 2024. I'm sure everybody's seen now.
Bill, you're cutting in and out. Are other people hearing that? Yeah. Okay. So I think
construct 2 lanes to the season. And
Bill, your internet is failing, sadly, so we can't really hear you anymore.
so in 2024, storm works on the south bridge, but the most part it is all going to be concentrated on the west side and to the north side and on the bridge itself. The bridge work will start in July. Due to water course restrictions and various permits, wildlife restrictions, that's as soon as we can start work on the bridge. So as soon as July comes around, work on the bridge will commence. And they are hoping, if everything goes well, to possibly get the deck on the bridge by Christmas. So that's the short-term outlook. And then work will continue through in 2025. And work will commence on the east side in 2025. So
Bill, your internet was cutting out a little bit for the first part of your explanation. So if I could just summarize, I think you were saying that our expectation is there will the construction of the additional 2 lanes that you see on the Ferguson Forest side. We expect them to be functional so that we would be using those by the end of this year. Is that timeline right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. And they will be temporarily paved, if you will, so that they're kind of optimal to the extent that they can be at this time. And as traffic is shifted over to those 2 new lanes, the work will begin on the existing lanes and all of the underground work that has to take place as well. Is that right?
That's correct, Madam Mayor. If Bill can't get through.
Okay. I just want to acknowledge Alex and Stan. Is there anything else, Alex or Stan, that you'd like to mention at this time?
Thank you, Mayor Peckford. This is Alex Oliveira on behalf of Aegis and the counties and the municipality of North Grenville. Just to emphasize on where Bill was breaking out there and on your point, Mayor, is the focus primarily for 2024 will be on the northwest side of the Kemptville Creek. Tomlinson will be undertaking majority of the work on the north side, where you're seeing Tomlinson currently now near Ferguson Forest. A lot of the work west of the Kemptville Creek Bridge all the way up to County Road 44 will be hopefully completed and under use by the end of this year, with more construction happening on the south side while the traffic is on the north side. We will also be seeing new construction of the new bridge on the south side of the current Kemptville Creek Bridge. You'll see the substructures and in-water work starting come July 1st. There will be very minimal work on the east side of Kemptville Creek in 2024. A lot of that work will be primarily all that work will be done during regular working hours, Monday to Friday, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those are the extent of the hours that the contractor can work. There are potential. There is also the potential for weekend work. However, that always comes with permission granted first by the counties and the municipality. There is an expected County Road 43 closure. That's for the installation of the new girders for the new structure. However, that will only take place later in the year, closer into the fall. Those are the major disruptions that we expect for County Road 43. Again, the intent and the big message that everyone wants to get across here is that the contractor has undertaken the responsibility to ensure that very minimal disruptions are taking place towards the regular traffic going along 43, and that no disruptions or major disruptions occur to all businesses and any residents along that corridor. We really want to make sure that everyone's aware that all preventative measures are being considered in order to keep everyone in business and keep everyone moving.
Great, thank you. Thanks. Okay, and I know that there's a question in regards to the height underneath the bridge, and I think I may have addressed that earlier, but just again to emphasize, despite our real want to consider an elevation of the bridge, it simply was, from an engineering standpoint, exceedingly challenging and would have put immense pressure on the feasibility of this project. So unfortunately, the height will not change notably, despite the fact that it was certainly looked at, but the conditions around the bridge just didn't make it possible. I also, one of the questions that was asked at our public meeting was, will the speed change on County Road 43? I think Bill, if you can hear us, or maybe Mike, you remember the answer. I think our expectation is to keep speed on 43 once this work is completed to 40 or 50 kilometers. I think I'm speaking accurately. Maybe Mike, you can talk about speed considerations.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. I believe it's we're considering the 50 kilometers going through. Now we will reduce speed, of course, going through the roundabout, so that'll slow people kind of coming through back and forth, but it'll be a 50 kilometer going through this section.
Great, thanks. We were also asked about road safety measures and detour routes. we recognize that the locals will find their own way. And our hope is that people continue to use 43, given the fact that everything is being done to accommodate regular traffic flows. That said, where we anticipate people potentially using detour routes, not formal detour routes, but informal routes may include, for those who are local on this call, Van Buren, Wellington, certainly Bridge, perhaps Clothier. And then, of course, a lot of people potentially getting on the 416 through the other exits we have available. So we are taking a close look at Van Buren, Bridge, and Wellington to see if another four-way stop is necessary at that juncture with the rail trail at Parkinson and Bridge and Wellington. And we're also considering some additional road safety measures on Van Buren once we complete some sidewalk work on Bridge Street. So we accept that I think some of our streets may be busier owing to commuter traffic and to those who are boarding 43. And certainly Mike Finley, who's on the call with us tonight, has committed to working with council and being vigilant about where we need to perhaps add additional traffic calming measures. But at this point, if anyone relies on Google Maps, not necessarily to get around our town if you live here, but from another community, there will be no road closure on 43. So our hope is that people continue to use that road to the best of their ability. Kina or Hillary, is there anything else that came up in our other public meeting that's worth mentioning this evening?
I think you've covered everything, Mayor Peckford. The biggest concern was road closures, access to businesses, but I think that's been covered.
Okay, excellent. So maybe in closing or just before we wrap up tonight, if you have any last questions, please feel free to ask. Alex and Stan, who are on the call with us tonight, they are on site day to day with Bill. So they're really actively liaising with Tomlinson. So what we've said to all of our local businesses is if you have a challenge, if you have a question, if you have a concern, if you have a client telling you that there's an issue, pick up the phone and immediately communicate with Alex and Stan. Stan lives in our community, so we're very blessed that he'll see it up close every day. And he understands the volume of traffic on 43. So he's going to have his ear to the ground. And of course, Bill is back and forth to Kemptville all the time, given the enormity of this project for our county public works team. And we also have Jeff Clark here from the counties. He is supporting the overall communication effort that the municipality and the counties is jointly embarking upon. And that's less for technical questions that businesses might have and more for the general public. So that website that was referred to earlier will be a good resource. There will be some still pictures running, I think, every couple of minutes that will show you what you can expect more or less on 43, should that be of interest. And of course, the contact information for any troubleshooting that you believe needs to be addressed will be there. I'm going to recognize Councillor O'Sullivan shortly, but this is a joint project between the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville and the municipality of North Grenville, and we are deeply committed to doing our absolute best to make this as smooth as possible, recognizing that it's a big project. We will have our hiccups, but there have been a lot of contingencies put into place to minimize and mitigate what otherwise could be fairly significant disruptions. But, we're going to learn as we go, and we are strong believers in communication, which is why we decided to host this additional meeting tonight. And the steering group that was spoken of earlier includes our Old Town BIA, our Chamber of Commerce, the school boards, our emergency services team, and all those that expect to have more impacts, if you will, by virtue of their location or their the businesses they serve or the clients and residents they serve in our community, which includes Campbell Retirement Living, which is a large seniors residence, as well as Madison Montessori Daycare, which is our largest daycare. And obviously they're very dependent on 43 as well. I'm just going to recognize Councillor O'Sullivan.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, and thank you to everyone involved in putting this information session together this evening. It's been great, and it's very exciting to finally see the work started on County Road 43. It will be amazing when it's all finished, and it already looks amazing to start. I'd just like to comment on Matthew Cahoon's comments regarding the expansion further south or further west of County Road 44. And I sit on the Active Transportation Committee, and we really share your concerns with the expansion in construction and new homes and making sure that there's connectivity into the town, into the rest of the services, the schools, the businesses, the churches, etc. So we are looking at that. We're very cognizant of that concern, and we're looking at some kind of options. I understood that this was considered phase 1 of the County Road 43 expansion, although Mr. Guy said at this time there are no future plans for expansion to Somerville Road, but I think that's inevitable, that we will have to look at that sooner than later before we give any go-ahead to any further expansion west of County Road 44. So I just wanted to acknowledge Mr. Cahoon that this is definitely something that we're very aware of. And also to bring to Mr. Guy's attention that there are some messages for you in the chat. So I'm not sure if you've seen them, but there have been some messages sent to you in the chat. So in case, I know your internet's been a little sketchy, so hopefully you will be able to see some of those messages to you. Okay, thank you very much to everyone involved. It's been a great information session.
Great. So, Keena, maybe we can, or Alex, I think you're controlling the slides. I wonder if it might be helpful to put up that last slide. Of course, I think the contacts on that slide are largely for businesses, but also you have Bill Guy's coordinates there at the bottom. So if anyone needs a screenshot, that's how you can reach Bill. But of course, Mike Finley, Jeff Clark, who is supporting communications for the counties, Keena Boyce, communications for the municipality, and Matt, who's on this call. We're all available, as is, of course, council. Our goal is to be highly responsive. So if you have technical construction related questions, of course, the key contacts that you now see on your screen are probably the best way to get your information. But should you want to alert members of council and, of course, our communication and public works teams locally or at the county level, we would certainly encourage you to do that. I think we're going to get through this because it's all hands on deck approach, and the patience and collaboration of the community is really key. So to some extent, you're our eyes and ears too. And it's important that if you see something, you let us know one way or another. Someone, I think maybe to close, someone asked about safe pedestrian crossings while the construction was going on, particularly around the St. Mike's Shoppers Drug Mart area. And we can assure you that even with the roadworks that are underway, there will be temporary lights put there. And Tomlinson, of course, is exceedingly aware of how important it is to ensure a safe pedestrian crossing during the construction period. I think we might have Bill, and I just wanted to make sure that maybe he got the last word if his internet is working okay. I don't know, Bill, how much you've been able to hear. Is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been kind of going in and out here.
Yeah,
Technical difficulties seem to be the story of my life.
indeed.
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you very much for coming out. We're going to do the best that we can out there to mitigate any inconvenience to you, but there will be lots of it. I mean, that's and support your businesses. Like, shop where you always shop. I know it's going to be a little rougher going down 43, but you know what? Let's help them all out. They're our neighbors too. So, all right, just
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming out.
Yeah, thank you. And to that end, Bill, I know Matt Gilmer and his team, as well as Kina and her team and Jeff at the county, Jeff Clark, will all work together to really get that message out, to support local, stay local. It's really critical. And I just wrote an op-ed in the Ottawa Citizen that was published today that talks about how important it is for our own residents to ensure that they do invest in our local economy. And I know how many of you on this Zoom call tonight are so passionate about supporting locals. So we appreciate your patience and consideration over the next few months. And, we're going to do this again later in the year once we have a good sense of how this first phase of construction is going. But in the meantime, feel free to share, this presentation via, I think, the YouTube link. Kina, is that the best way for people to access this presentation?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the best way. And we'll also be
Yeah.
posting this PowerPoint on our social media as well.
Okay. The Zoom call or the PowerPoint itself?
The PowerPoint itself.
Okay, excellent. And can you just remind me our YouTube channel? How can you find our YouTube channel here in North Granville?
Well, we have the link on our Facebook page.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they can access it that way, or they can just Google Municipality North Granville YouTube.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you. Well, I think that concludes our session this evening. Thank you again. We appreciate your interest and look forward to hearing from you. And whether it's good news or bad news on 43, just keep that communication coming, and we'll do our best to respond as quickly and as promptly as possible. Thanks, everyone.